Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich,
And I'm ring low low low.
and we have ourselves some more Steel Division Normandy 44 today. Today is going to be a 1v1 on Omaha. So who do we have today here, Rang?
On the left hand side in blue we have URSS Dnestr as the 4th Armoured Division. And on the right hand side in red, playing as the 21st Panzer, we have Marcus Aurelius, our
All right,
favourite
so
Roman.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're going old school today. We have definitely have
Mhm.
ourselves the last good emperor on the right hand side. Now, just before we started recording, you made a comment to me that you felt the 21st Panzer and the 9th Panzer from the new DLC, the second wave material, that they're very, very similar. Do you want to go a little bit further into that? How you might feel that's the case?
In kind of a sense, they're pretty similar because you do have the rather like light tanks early on. You know, you're using the French tanks compared to the proper Panzer twos, but they're both very mediumish divisions. 21st Panzer, instead of spamming Panzer 4Js, is usually spamming Panzer 4Gs and Beuter Shermans. You know, the main thing for 21st Panzer is you get King Tigers instead of regular Tigers.
Very, very accurate. But I guess the thing that's fair to say is that now the division kind of ramps up in C. I mean, at that point, they've
Mhm.
already pretty much hit they've shot their load, so to speak, pretty much in B. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, in terms of economy, really for Marcus, it's just ripping out the King Tiger if he really does decide to bring a King Tiger out. But I don't really think it's that necessary against full armored because there's nothing really heavy you have to deal with, and you can pretty much kill all full armored stuff with your regular Panzers or
Now, one
mortars.
thing I do want to make a comment on is that while the Germans have I guess, a decent amount of anti-tank that's going to be coming through from the 21st Panzer, I know,
Hmm.
um, and we can only see the deck for Marcus Aurelius. We still don't have a patch coming through to see decks for the American players of the
Hmm.
DLC, or Germans for that matter as well. There are only 6 squads of P-Grens coming on out, which means I think as we go further and further into the game, especially in B phase, where Fourth Armored really ramps up, I don't know. I don't know if the Germans are going to have enough anti-tank to push back the Americans.
Yeah, it could be quite a bit of an issue because, of course, there is that Stuart spam. I won't get into it until we actually see in B phase if we do actually see. And also the Hellcats are full armored, even though they can't bring up heavy tanks, they can get a lot of them. A lot of scary tanks. And especially in A phase where there's nothing heavy for the Germans, those tanks can do quite a bit of damage. Really, it's just 222s being brought out by Marcus. A lot of
Now we did see
222s.
very quick on then off. It was a 105 Sherman that was on the left hand side. That's been replaced by an M8. How do you feel about using the early kind of indirect fire support for the Americans? Do you see it as better to be focused on the infantry and like maybe like right now what he has with the M8, or is it worth bringing in that early kind of Sherman assault gun?
Yeah, 105 Sherman is a fantastic A phase unit just because it has a 1.2 kilometer range, like its Cromwell brother essentially. You
Mm-hmm.
can outrange those Pack 38 guns, so it's an excellent tank buster. So you have a 105 Sherman backing up a Hellcat. You can just knock out 80 guns left, right, and center, and let your Hellcat move up and do all the damage.
And it is important to note that the Germans don't seem to have any kind of long range anti tank. They are just packing the Pack 38s early on. You can tell with
Hmm.
this the decisions being brought on in. But it doesn't seem like Dnestr is committing one way or the other. It looks like he's bringing in a fair amount of infantry. Now, speaking of the foot sloggers, who has the advantage in the early infantry game?
I say throughout the entirety of the match, it's really going to be Dempster because it's once again getting close range. He can beat the German infantry, and even not even he can get LMG rifles, which beat Panzer Grenadiers at long range too. He has just a much better selection of foot soldiers, essentially. Well, as you said, Marcus only has 6 whole Panzer Grenadiers. Is it 6 cards or 6 whole Panzer Grenadiers in?
In the first phase, he's got a total of 9 infantry squads. One third of those are Panzergrenadier Führers,
Mhm.
and the rest are Pgrens.
Yeah, I think you can barely make Buyer 6. That's usually just enough to get you through, but it's just Revel on later on he can actually get the good infantry choice. I think for Marcus, artillery is going to be a rather important to win in this match because you do have the crazy, you know, the Katusha rocket knockoff, as well as the mortar beast Rheinwerfer or whatever. So using the artillery to try and stun up the light armor, yet Dnestr can bring up, will definitely work quite well.
That's true, but that's not going to be happening to Phase B for either one of them now,
Yeah.
too. Just important to mention, I suppose, on that one.
Yeah, 21st Panzer's going to have a bit of a rocky time, I say, during this A phase, as the 4th Armoured really comes in strength. They can get Hellcats, while Marcus has to deal with crappy French tanks from 1936.
True. True, and I'm actually happy you brought that up. I mean, even looking just in terms of the sheer numbers, I think the Americans might have half again as many units as the Germans.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the mini-map, of course, the initial breakout. What are you thinking here? They're going to go for that town over here right in the 50-yard line from the Germans, perhaps? And then to the south to kind of, will they be concentrating at all on this town, do you think? Or just focusing on this crossroads or about an orchard on the German 50-ish?
I think that northern town's definitely going to be quite important to try and hold. And the crossroads as well, that could be rather important. I just want to make sure, what time are you at right now, Khan?
6:05, 6:06. And we actually are off. Yep, the Americans are making a very aggressive push to pick up that town. I'm not sure that... Actually, they should have the power to do it, too.
Yeah, I mean, just looking over here, we got quite a few infantry, quite a lot of infantry and the mortar, and that's already going to be start firing, putting down smoke, I guess, on the road.
That's absolutely correct. So here come those rounds, and Germans don't really have a whole lot to really contest this either. Yes, they have that 222, but there's we're gonna have ourselves a little Zook troops, which are gonna be quite irritating.
Yeah,
Germans are not gonna be able to do really anything against that.
yeah, quite
not easily
interesting
anyway.
bringing up the bazookas in A phase, because you already have. Well, actually, never mind. You don't get armored rifles; it's LMG rifles.
Nope. Nope.
But he does regular rifles, and that's quite a lot. And at close range, yeah, the Panzer Grenadier is a bug. It's just going to come down to that 222.
Well, the Germans in the center part, at least at like the center north, are able to take a couple casualties, but are not able to take out that Zook squad who's now hunkered down inside that house. And you're absolutely right to note. These rifles are just moving forward under a cover of smoke. I'm surprised we're not even seeing this mortar half-track continue to barrage the town.
Yeah, I think he just forgot to bring up closer, and I did just see a 222 go down in the center due to a Zook squad. That was a little bit ballsy out of his light vehicles, and it's very important keeping those 222s alive as one of his main firepower sources.
And losing the Aufklärers are not going to be particularly wonderful either. The American South doesn't seem to be too much of a concern for either player.
We kind of got penetration a little bit in that center part with just a few American infantry in the M8, but that's about it.
True. Now the Zook squads are down in the north, but more smoke coming on in. I have to say, while I'm pleased to see Dnestr be as aggressive as he is by using the smoke, that's something we talk about all the time, people very much underutilizing. Do you think it would have been better to be going with the HE, or is he making the right call, just unfortunately not having enough manpower here?
I think he just kind of smoked the wrong area, because the thing stopping his assault is a 222.5 track back, and he doesn't have any AT currently to try and actually deal with it. Now he's actually going to be putting high explosive on the light vehicles, which is a very good choice to try to stun them up so he can come in round 2 with his rifles, because in infantry engagement, those rifles are going to beat the PZ Grens.
Now we're also going to see that the 4th Armored's bringing in their single heavy tank here in the first phase. At the same time, I wonder if this half-track's going to get picked on off. We are going to see the 222 kind of... Yep.
Oh, wow.
He's going to see it. He's going to take it out pretty easily, I would imagine.
I know that the half-track does... Never mind. I thought the half-track could defend itself a little bit with the
I think
50
you're
count.
just barely a shade ahead of me. If you...
Yep. I'm at 9 minutes now.
Okay, yeah, you're about a second and a half ahead of me.
Hold up. think we're synced up now. Yeah, we go.
5, 6...
Yep, 7. We're good.
Okay. Now Abrams is coming on in, so he's going to pick up a half track on the way through, but the damage has been done. The Germans are up a whole 5%. Well, they're plus 5% right now.
It's
and
really
the Americans, yes, go for it, please.
It's really just due to that 222 penetration rate. It's ballsy, and I love seeing that type of play. The half track autocannons also being brought up. He's gonna just have to try and do those penetrations and break through to really try to make the most out of his A phase.
That's true, but at the same time, while he had a +2 for about 3 seconds there, he has now given away a large portion of his control. That half-track dying is going to cause a bit of a problem. Center part of the field here for our good Roman. And moving on forward continually, do you feel... Okay, let's actually get back up here to the northern side of this town fight. Help me out with this. So we have a couple of rifle squads left. We still have the rifle leader that's right there.
Yep.
Now, with the half-track there, of course, eventually they're going to get ground away. But how long can they hold out? Can this one rifle squad up front manage to do enough damage to deflect and just kind of make it last a little bit longer, or what's going on there?
I mean, they have a lot of HP, but now with the 222 and half-track moving up and no anti-tank whatsoever, I think it's just going to get shred up if the light vehicles can actually engage it. Oh, actually taking some close-range grenade fire.
Now, we are also going to see a Hellcat has now been brought in, so if he drives up this center line, he might, well, I say center line, if he drives up the northern arterial, he might be in time to save those riflemen. And indeed, oh my gosh, there's no Panzer Grenadiers, there's one lone P-Gun left.
Yeah, he's...
But against 4 riflemen, this is not gonna...
That's not gonna go well.
And that's it. So... I wouldn't be surprised if we would see Dnestr take control of the entire north here pretty darn quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he's managing to push through. It's really only at 222 behind enemy lines, and I think he knows where it is going to be running in the rifles, trying to get a grenade kill. Because it is an open-top vehicle, and every infantry is armed with grenades, so you pop, run, frag down the hatch, and watch it go kaboom.
True. Now, I've never really seen the whole grenade thing happen, per se. I mean, I found this the explosions now. But talk about that grenade thing. I'm not sure a lot of our players perhaps know about that.
Yeah, it's a weird hidden stat. Every infantry unit, no matter
there
what,
we go,
has a grenade, essentially. And if you get in really close, 50 meters to a vehicle, or yeah, I think it's roughly 50 meters, 70 meters, they would just start automatically throwing grenades. On closed top tanks and vehicles, doesn't really do much. On open top vehicles like a 222 or Hellcat, you can actually kill them with just a regular rifle squad of no actual anti-tank weaponry.
Now, we are also going to see the PaK 43 being brought on in for the 21st Panzer. This is a deadly, deadly piece of equipment. But for my part, I can't help but wondering if perhaps it's being ill-placed right now. Looks like he's trying to take it back up to this orchard. I don't like that placement very much.
In terms of area, is it the best spot to put it in? Because these are the 2 tanks at his threat, and the PaK 43 can easily kill both of them. But there's no good place, like you said, to really place it. It's all a bit too close. But at the same time, he can and needs to deploy it up north, because it's his only real anti-tank option. Well, it's right now. I mean, he could get his Panzer 35s, but did you see him having the Panzer 35 French tanks in his deck or not?
Yes, he is mounted. He's got 3 of them, but I haven't seen any of them obviously get brought to the field just yet. He's depending too much more on those 250s instead.
It's not even a bad choice against full farmer, because they can kill Hellcats if you get close enough. And this is perfect country to get in close.
Very, very true. Now, one more P-Grunt squad is behind enemy lines. He's holding fire with a bunch of material, which I don't think is the right call for me. I feel like mainline infantry is there to be mainline infantry. I'm not sure why they're being as cautious. And that Hellcat got lucky up in the town.
Oh, yeah.
The P-Grunts are pinned down just before they could have gotten off that Faust. Probably saved that Hellcat's life. I'm thinking about it here.
But now the Hellcat and infantry completely capping the town, that's going to be a rather easy thing to hold. Because there's just a bunch of open ground between him and the town. So that Hellcat can do quite a bit of damage. And even though, like, Dnestr is really starting to push back, and I do say he has the A-phase advantage, Marcus is holding on very well.
True. Very, very tenacious. Now the PaK 38 being delivered.
In terms of points.
Amusingly, by the way, I didn't realize he really went hardcore after those 250s. For the support under those kind of how do you call it? You call it an autocannon, I guess, more or less.
Yeah, an autocannon half-track.
The autocannon half-track, so he's bringing 4 in on the southern arterial.
Oh,
they're just waltzing right along the road, and I don't think the Zuka's not even close enough to take them out. So this could rupture the lower South American lines.
Damn, that could work. Yeah, this could work really well. Just that rupture, forcing Dnestr to start spending money on his southern flank will really relieve Marcus up north, and that is a good play. Marcus playing into the fact that he has a lot of cheap vehicles that he can just use to penetrate enemy lines instead of going in for direct fire engagements with a scary Abrams and a Hellcat.
But at the same time, I kind of wonder if really he should have applied this a little bit sooner. He's going to have at best 60 seconds or so.
Yeah. It depends if he can spread them out and just kind of, get them all behind the enemy backlines like a virus just picking off back and forth. Kind of like what you do with the 9th Panzer Grenadier Division. Well, not Panzer Grenadier, Panzer Division. Where you just move in the Lukes, try to rush them up, and just get all behind enemy lines and do as much damage as you can.
Now, we had an amusing game about that recently, didn't we?
Was it the Colin Blaise run?
The factory?
Yep.
Yes. It was hell. It was hell. But, you know, it was interesting. Very interesting.
It's all about that Panzer II mortar free play early on for 9th Panzer. It's a deadly combo when used effectively.
That Four Musketeer attack by those half-tracks has destroyed the Zook squad. It's going to force us to surrender for another Rifleman squad. So there's nothing left down here for the Americans. And that's going to swing it over to the German side yet again. We're actually almost right bang on even about tickets, but the Abrams is shifting on down, and these tanks are not going to do anything to them. Excuse me, these half-tracks even are not going to do anything to them.
Yeah, no, funnily enough, he's just going to back off. He's not going to try and do the suicide rush behind enemy lines, and honestly, that's the right call to do, as there's no real roads to really run around, and off-road, I believe, as half-tracks are kind of slow. 35 kilometers, no, that's pretty fast.
Well, and we are going to get to Phase B. So we have a Stuart immediately getting popped in immediately, as well as 3 squads of infantry to consolidate and push back.
Are we going to see Stuart spam con? Are we going to see it?
I don't know, but we will see already as one death of this half-track. And the Abrams is going off-road here, man. He's going to do some good damage.
Those half-tracks can't exactly do much against a fully kitted Abrams, a Sherman tank.
Yeah, that's one of those things I can consistently make an issue with myself. Now, the Hellcat did go down. I think, the Pac 38, excuse me, Pac 43, rather, I think took him out and then repositioned himself. But the North, while it seems like it should be heating back up a little bit, I don't think it's going to go particularly well for the Germans.
It's just, there's a lot of rifles all spread out, and he's going to need quite a few not tank busters, but infantry busters, such as heavy artillery pieces to try and storm out. And even if it's because there's no actual AT to really contest, except for 2 Stuarts being brought out, so you are seeing Stuart spam. It's just going to be a little bit tough to break through, as the vehicles will take a bit of time to destroy the rifles. And yeah, we got 2 more Stuarts. I bet we're going to see another 2 in 30 seconds.
Well, we are going to see a Panzer IV to the south, so Abrams is going to have some interesting company fairly quickly. But we're going to Phase B. So is this when the infantry game does actually swing over to Dnestr more severely? And we were talking before about it being kind of, pretty much in his favor in the first place.
I'd still say it's in his favour, because you just get a lovely infantry selection for 4th Armoured. But Marcus now, he can start getting Pioneer squads, as you're seeing. And some more Panzer Grenadiers, which are really going to be the bread and butter for taking this town. Especially the Pios, because they got the, the grenade, what you call it?
The Gebote-Ladungs.
What he said.
the bundle grenades, essentially. Yeah. There is a problem, though. Marcus Aurelius isn't bringing any more P-Grens in his deck. His B on, in terms of infantry, is just 15 Pios over 3 cards. That's absolutely it.
That's an interesting choice. Honestly, for this map, it kind of works. There's a lot of closer range engagements, and once you got the stick grenade bundle, they just absolutely devastate infantry. As you see in this town up north, he's completely broke through almost. Now the problem is because he has no other Panzer Grenadiers, he doesn't have any other Faust equipped infantry, and especially against an American deck of all this armor, you kind of do want maybe just a Faust or 2.
Well, OP Sherman's getting called on, and so the 155 off-map Collins are going to probably start leveling this town. I mean, I get the feeling that if Dnestr says if I can't have it, nobody will. Yeah,
and he's bringing out those Stuarts, and they're going to be pretty tough to kill. The Pios can't do anything about it. The pack guns aren't anywhere nearby. Yeah, we do have a Panzer IV-G up north as well. So that's going to be the counter. But that Panzer IV-G, it's very light in terms of armor, so the Stuarts can kill it.
So I do want to note in the meantime that there is a Stuart to the south that just rumbled on through a hedgerow. Charged basically what amounts to essentially 3 of those half-tracks, one each behind its own tree line. What we really wanted to highlight, at least for me, was just the effective veterancy, which is so fast in terms of getting that first shot off, and I think that probably kept him alive for right now.
Yeah, and he's all getting battered by the second run up north, so it's probably going to run out of ammo before he even has a chance of killing the Stuart. But
Very true.
But cleaning out these half tracks with Stuarts is definitely a good idea. To just rather for cheap vehicles that
Ooh,
are easily killable.
Stewart went down, shockingly enough,
Oh
from a
wow.
great distance. I mean, the guy's only got 20 rounds left in his original 200, but regardless, that's pretty beefy.
Yeah, definitely
Um,
paid himself off.
Engineers are coming on in. I think they're going to get the grenades as you're talking about. There's
Yep.
one. No, he's reloading, so that charge went on off, and
There we
that's
go.
going to be a kill. But yes, so not quite the same crazy Stewart spam as we were thinking, perhaps, but another
No,
Hellcat being brought on
it's.
into the south to, I think, contend with this Panzer IV.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you're gonna make a comment though, please.
But no, it's a pretty decent amount of storage. He's really just using his vehicles to mop up his like southern and northern section of the map. And even though we're still quite far into the map, it's a dead-on 0-0. Both sides are really holding on to every piece of ground that they can get.
Very, very true. Now, if this P4G goes down, this wasn't one of those two-star Panthers. Excuse me, Panzers. Wow, just apparently
I wish
Freudian
there was a
slip there.
Panther G. That'd be cool. That'd
That'd be
definitely help out.
fantastic. Oh my gosh. But if you lose it, oh, and there's other P4G in the north. If that gets killed, I mean that's falling back right now. Thank you so much, artillery barrage. If he loses those, that is a big, big part of his mid-game armor strength.
Yeah, I mean, the Panzer IV-G statistically is just a less armoured Panzer IV-H or J, but it does have the veterancy, and having that 3-star veterancy on a tank, or 2-star if you don't have the command vehicle, makes a huge difference. It allows you to pop Stuarts off left, right, and centre very quickly.
Very accurate. Very accurate indeed. So there's a 30 Jeep that's holding down this road for some strange reason in the south. And Abrams is starting to actually exchange fire with that P4, and Abrams is going to have the better part of that deal. He's already broken the tracks on the tank.
He managed to get first shot, essentially, and yeah, with the M8 cavalry helping out, he's pretty much buggered.
Yep, and despite the fact that the Pentagonadier Führer came on in to support his ailing comrade, yeah. Yeah, the Panzer IV has now died.
GG for the Panzer.
That's about accurate. Now, in the north, a 232 did take out a Stuart, and actually off-map Colin was too aggressive with his anti-infantry platform there, and he's been forced to bail out, which to me is kind of totally shocking.
Yeah, I mean, did he get 2 shots off already? So it's not too bad, but yeah, a little bit too aggressive, yeah.
That was only one, but okay. In the meantime, so engineers are getting attacked by light vehicles galore, and chargers are going out like crazies. They're missing the half-track. That gets picked on up by a Hellcat. And I don't know how to call it over here. This has honestly just been, like you said, it's a slugfest back and forth, but neither player is really losing their troops unnecessarily.
Yeah, I mean, this northern town has really gone back and forth quite a few times, so I do think the Americans do have the advantage of bringing up more infantry. They really have the tanks on the field. As the Hellcats, the main thing about Hellcats is they outrange those Panzer IVs and Shermans.
And I think all it's really going to take, though, is to see a couple of these light vehicles buy it in the north. And, I mean, Marcus's troops at that point, there's going to be nothing out there for them to even do. Half-track will go down without taking his target, though, and a Boyd to Sherman goes down and turn to the Zook rifles.
A Sherman blown up by a bazooka. How ironic.
That's what was tested on first. But 5347, so 400 to 239, and Marcus Aurelius actually taps out.
And that's going to be a GG.
Yeah, wow.
It's very close in kills. Only have like 300 point difference.
Yeah, but regardless, I mean, I did not expect to see that that quick. But I guess if you look at it, I guess Marcus Aurelius realized he didn't have a whole lot to hold back his opponent. He'd be starting to bank on his infantry squads instead.
Yeah, I mean, did lose that Sherman. That was probably a bit of a nasty surprise, and losing the Panzer IV-G down south. And the problem for Marcus in that map is he couldn't really get enough tanks to out-tank the 4th Armoured, as they had just a lot of light vehicles all over. And because of how the placement of that map is, it's all short-range engagements. So getting in those Stuarts close and Abrams close can allow you to just get in, ambush a Panzer IV or half-track and kill it rather easily. And also the amount of infantry that Dnestr could bring up too.
Now, I will say from my angle, I would have liked... And I know you didn't necessarily take a look at the deck for Marcus Aurelius here. I would have liked him to have dropped the Pack 43 and just bought more Pack 38s.
For that map, definitely, because there's not too many areas to really take advantage of that single Pack 43. On other maps, it can be a real good A phase unit as it just scares a crap because why did my Sherman get blown up from 1.0? They have a Pack 43. But on that map, more smaller Pack 38s and bringing out some of those French light tanks definitely would have helped out.
Exactly. Also very true.
Mm-hmm.
One final comment I do want to make, at least on my side from the deck kind of perspective, is that Marcus actually runs a Storch in Phase A. I didn't notice this until
Oh,
just now.
that's
So
an
he's
interesting
got
choice.
a 2-stack card in Phase A.
Yeah, I mean, I know recon planes are kind of in a weird position where they're useful, but I still don't want to take one.
Outside of that Seafire, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather take like the 4th armored F5 or the Seafire because it flies fast and
Mhm.
it can do something else usually, especially the Seafire, where you're slower, pretty much Cessna style recon planes. They're very slow. All it takes is running APs to really knock him out, or one plane too. And in the end of the day, especially for a tank style deck, I'd
Mhm.
much rather take another fighter that can help me control the skies than a recon plane that may spot one or two things before getting warded off by flak fire.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, literally my last comment, I don't know about you, I will say,
Yep.
um, I was a little skeptical. We talked about the idea of shifting forward the 4th Armored and how to
Mm-hmm.
kind of utilize that Abrams M4. Now, I was skeptical, but he definitely paid for himself rather well today. He picked up 3 of those autocannon half-tracks,
Yep.
a infantry half-track, a 223, and a Panzer IV. Now, he's only really being equaled by a Hellcat, who took out a little bit of infantry and basically half-tracks, and one of those vetted up stewards who again really focused on the lighter vehicles instead. So I would say a good tip out there. And I know again, you and I had a game recently where your Abrams was fantastic, and my Abrams did precisely Vitman levels of damage. Um,
I like that, Tom. I like it.
Vitman levels of damage.
Yep.
But no, that Abrams is quite a great tank to have early on. That can
It
definitely
is.
change the game.
I mean, it's a full-on medium tank that can somewhat tank Pack 38 shots, which is the main AT threat the Germans can bring up. It's got 2-star veterancy. It's great infantry support, knock out the majority of German tanks. You can knock out all the German tanks pretty well in A phase, except for maybe the Firefly, but even then you just get a little bit closer. It's a really good unit card that Abrams Ren used effectively, and it stacks well to be in the sea.
Sounds about
Yeah.
right. So we did see Dnestr now take the victory over here, and unfortunately, watching the last good emperor go to an early grave. Any last comments from you?
Nope, that's all from me.
Sounds good. Well, folks, in that case, it's going to do it for me as well. This has been Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rang Ru. Take it easy.
Have a great day, everybody.